Hey guys, this is Bharat and welcome to Bharat's Kitchen with how to make the crispiest aloo tikki, which is also known as potato patties. Well, aloo tikki is a very famous street food, but many times when you make it at home, it isn't at all like the street vendor or the restaurant one. Now, to make a crispy aloo tikki, you need to keep in mind two things. First is that you need maximum moisture loss from the potatoes, and the second is that you need to have a good understanding of starches and binders and how they actually work. So, first in my recipe, you don't need a frozen potato or a potato that has been kept in the refrigerator overnight. You just need some boiled potatoes which have completely cooled down, and then you just need to shred them. Make sure you don't mash the potatoes because potatoes have starch and moisture both. And when you mash them, they combine together and starts to form a glue. So to all the ladies out there, beating and mashing your husbands will never solve anything. But shredding them is another issue. Okay, now before we begin, you have to understand that to make the crispiest aloo tikki, your starch or binder should have two things. First, it should literally suck the moisture out of the potatoes, and second, that it should not become pasty after doing it. So here I've done a simple experiment to make you understand things in a better way. I've taken some common starches and binders which people generally use, which is some cornstarch, which is also known as corn flour, some rice flour, some white breadcrumbs, and finally we have some rice flakes, which is also known as poha or beaten rice. Now all the cups have equal amount of the product, and we're gonna add equal amount of water in each of the cup. And we're gonna let them sit for about 5 minutes and let's see what the result is. Okay, so first we have the very common cornstarch. Now everybody use it, but you can see that it's quite liquidy and it's too pasty, so it's not good enough. Next comes in the rice flour, which has actually absorbed all of the water, but it's a little on the grainy pasty side, so you can use it but not a lot of it. Next, again a big myth, which is white breadcrumbs. Now this dude has absorbed a good amount of water, but it's very pasty. And last but not the least is rice flakes, and you can clearly see that it has absorbed all the water, and even if you try to press them or mash them, they'll actually not become very pasty. So the conclusion is that the best starch or binder to use is rice flakes, but for a better and even texture, and so that nobody can guess what your secret ingredient is, you should add a little rice flour also. Alright, back to the recipe from my boring and long explanations. So basically, first you need to activate the rice flakes. So we're going to keep them in a little bit of water, and in the meanwhile we're going to sprinkle some rice flour over the potatoes. And make sure you work them with very gentle hands. Then spread your rice flakes over the potatoes and again work with very gentle hands. Make sure you don't mash anything. And the thing that you have to keep in mind while you're doing this is that you cannot add any salt to it. So cover this mix with a cloth and let it rest for about 1 hour. Okay, in the meanwhile, let's prepare our stuffing, for which we need some boiled chana dal. Now boiling them is pretty easy. Just soak your lentil for about 2 hours. Rinse them properly and then boil them on a medium to high flame with some salt and some turmeric powder. Cook for about 15 minutes with a lid on it, and then make sure that you haven't overboiled it. And that's it. Okay, time to make the spice mix for the stuffing, for which you need some red chilli powder, some coriander powder, which is also known as Dhaniya powder, some mango powder, which is also known as Amchur powder, some Garam Masala, some salt, and remember that there is no salt in the potatoes. Finally, we're gonna add some rock salt, which is also known as Kala Namak. Few more things that we're gonna need are some peas, some chopped cilantro, some green chilies, and finally some chopped ginger. So quickly take a pan and add some oil, some Asafoetida, which is also known as Hing, and also some whole cumin, which is also known as Jeera. We're gonna cook until the cumin starts to pop, and then add your chopped chilies and ginger and cook for about 2 minutes. Okay, at this point we're gonna add our Bengal gram, some peas and our spice mix with a little bit of water and cook for a good 5 to 7 minutes. Then just turn the flame off and add your chopped cilantro and let the stuffing cool down for a little bit. Finally, just mash everything together and your stuffing is ready. Okay, now that it's been an hour, you'll notice that this mix has become really dry. Make sure now you mash the potatoes properly and mix everything together. So mash and mix everything together thoroughly so that no one is able to notice your secret ingredients. They'll keep on guessing what it is and don't tell them, okay? Now remember, before you stuff your patties, you need to oil your hands thoroughly. Otherwise you'll not be able to handle them and they'll completely break. Alright, here I have a cookie cutter to give a perfect shape. But if you don't have it, you can easily make a perfect shape by your hand also. Now what you'll notice is that as soon as I squeeze the patty, the sides or the edges will really start to break. Well, it's basically because the patty is too dry, and that is why I said that you have to oil your hands properly. Okay, moving on, add your stuffing now and remember to squeeze it down. Then slowly and gently try to close the patty. And there it is. Now to make it even better, we're gonna use a cookie cutter again and again reshape the patty. At this point, you just need to gently press it and roll it against a flat surface. And voila! A perfect aloo tikki. See how simple it is. Now before we start to fry, I want you to keep in mind that the level of oil while frying the tikki should be 3/4 of the tikki. It should not be more than that. It should not be very less. Okay, so to fry your patties, you basically need to have a medium flame and please don't flip them more than 2 or 3 times. Let the heat penetrate throughout the patties. So fry them until they are golden brown or until they look like this. Okay, everything is fine, but I still haven't proved that this recipe gives the crispiest aloo tikki. Okay, so on the left of your screen is a tikki which is made from cornstarch and breadcrumbs, and on the right of your screen is a tikki which is made from my recipe. So if you remove and try to measure the crispy exterior, then you can see that the traditional crispy layer is about 0.7 mm and my crispy layer is about 2.1 mm. Which is 3 times the thickness. Now remember, when you serve the tikki, don't forget to add a little bit of chaat masala, as we added no salt in the potato mix. Then add all your favorite chutneys. And there you are guys, how to make the crispiest tikki. You'll find all the list of ingredients and their measurements on my website. And if you like this video, do give it a thumbs up. For updates and queries, you can like me on Facebook. You can also follow me on Twitter and Google+. Until then, I'll see you all next time.